Tonight, scattered storms impacting the Houston area today were felt throughout, and our Khalil Ray has your full forecast for what is more to come in a matter of moments.
And as school is now in session, we're learning more about the new cell phone ban put in place on the first day of school throughout Texas school districts. How just an alert or ring can lead to your phone taken with fees you may not know about.
And finally, Democrats continue to boycott special legislative sessions. KPRC2 News at 6:30 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on KPRC2 News at 6:30. I'm Vivian Phillips.
And I'm Max Cepeda, and we head straight to breaking news surrounding our weather. And our Khalil Ray has more on what the weather has been over the last couple of days. Khalil, it was soaking raining today, but obviously that is so much a lesser storyline in comparison to what's going on around the globe.
That's correct. As a matter of fact, taking a live look outside at Galveston, you see nothing but clear skies. There are some clouds overhead, but otherwise looking pretty dry, pretty nice outside. Also, taking a look at your current temperatures, we're currently sitting anywhere from 90 in Houston, 89 in Sugar Land, 87 in Conroe. Again, not looking too bad, but again, factoring that humidity, this is what it really looks like. Feels like 102 in Houston, 104 in Sugar Land, 106 in Katy. But the good news is, as we are starting to lose some of that sunlight, we are going to start seeing some of those temperatures starting to go down. Radar looking pretty clear right now as well. So again, this is going to, we are going to start to calm down just a bit before bringing those showers and storms right back tomorrow. Alice?
We'll be interested to see what that looks like, Khalil. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you, Khalil. School is back in session. This weekend marks many kids' first or second week back in class.
That's right, Vivian. And one main difference from this year and last year is all Texas public and charter schools have banned the use of cell phones during instructional time. Most districts enacted an out-of-sight policy where if a banned device is seen or heard, it would be immediately taken. Bonnie Holst, a teacher in KDISD, mentioned to us that the further restrictions would help the kids more than hurt them.
The problem I think we're having with kids now is that they're not used to having talks face to face. They don't make good eye contact. They get very uncomfortable when they're talking to you. They have relied on social media to say whatever they want to say, and there's no consequence to what they're saying. They don't know about confrontation. They don't know how to talk to people. And so I really think that us limiting their use of phones is a very healthy thing to do.
Now, the law requires districts to have punishments for students who break the rules, and the punishments could range from having to pay a fee to the device being withheld for a day. And a frightening start to the school year in Texas as an elementary school bus similar to this news, Vivian, packed with children rolled off the road Wednesday just outside of Austin.
A dozen people, including the bus driver, were rushed to the hospital with 3 suffering life-threatening injuries.
Terror on the first day of school in Texas after an elementary school bus rolled off the road.
There are kids that are injured, a lot of screaming children in the background.
42 children were on board the bus about 30 minutes outside of Austin. A dozen people, including the bus driver, were taken to the hospital for treatment.
1 has life-threatening injuries, 2 have potentially life-threatening injuries, and the remaining 40 have non-life-threatening injuries.
The crash happened shortly after pickup at Baghdad Elementary School in Leander, just 4 miles into the route, and before any children were dropped off.
For an unknown reason, the bus left the right side of the roadway, rolling it over.
It was crazy. It was like a crazy scene.
Shatik Gill saw the emergency response as he was leaving work.
The thing that struck out to me was all the women that were running to the scene, and the ones that was carrying the babies.
Just weeks ago, that same school district lost 2 students in the deadly July floods that inundated Central Texas.
This part of our Leander ISD family has been through so much already this summer with the floods, and this tragedy this afternoon is really breaking our hearts.
As students across Houston head back to school, Christus Healthy Living Center mobile clinics are offering free vaccinations for children ages 2 months to 18 years. These clinics are open to the public on a first-come, first-served basis, and the first 50 children will receive their vaccinations. For more details about upcoming dates and locations, visit ChristusFoundation.org.
Now, coming up, the Houston Texans are now through 2 weeks of the preseason, and as the 2025 campaign approaches, the outlook of the franchise appears to be more clearer than ever. When we come back, we'll share our full season preview on what hopes to be a season to remember at NRG Stadium.
Plus, the Capitol is under high stress as Texas's redistricting battle continues. Over the past couple of weeks, Texas Congress has been in conflict over a controversial redistricting bill. I had the opportunity to talk to one of the Texas Democrats who's currently out of the state. He believes Democrats' fight is far from over. As Texas's redistricting battle continues to heat up, tensions rise. Governor Greg Abbott called a second special session this past Friday in an attempt to pass his controversial redistricting bill. Many Democrats have fled the state in protest of this bill and refuse to come back until it is no longer in the legislative agenda. I spoke with District 27 Representative Ron Reynolds about the redistricting bill and the effect it will have on Texas voters.
It specifically targets African American and Latino communities and what we call packing and cracking. That means we're putting many of them in one area and then we're breaking the other ones up into different areas so that they dilute their voting strength and the ability to elect a candidate of their choice.
Political science professor Dr. Mark Jones sheds some light on the historical precedents of the situation and how he believes it will develop going forward. What is the definition of gerrymandering and how does this term play into the situation at hand?
Gerrymandering is whenever you draw the districts to obtain some type of goal. Partisan gerrymandering is when you draw the districts with the goal of benefiting one party and hurting another party.
Many of the Democrats who are seeking refuge in liberal states like Illinois and New York are critical that Governor Greg Abbott is prioritizing this redistricting bill over legislation to provide flood relief.
Why wouldn't Governor Abbott, when there's such a crisis where you had over 130 Texans, many of them with children, precious little girls that died, why would you not prioritize this when you had the ability to do it?
Additionally, many Democrats are upset that the redistricting bill was proposed 5 years early, a violation of tradition.
This is a good example of a norm that used to guide politics in the United States being broken, and that is that you engaged in redistricting only once every 10 years, not whenever you felt you could gain a partisan advantage from doing so.
The future remains uncertain as Texas Democrats and Republicans continue to have conflicting agendas. To read more about this ongoing situation, visit clicktohouston.com. Reporting in Houston, this is Vivian Phillips, KPRC2 News.
Certainly a great story there, Vivian. But more importantly, I walked outside this morning coming into the studio today, and it was not only very sticky, but it was also very wet.
Incredibly humid. Let's hear a little more about what the weather is going to be looking like tonight. Khalil?
Yeah, honestly, guys, it's not looking too bad for the rest of the night. Most of us starting to clear out. As a matter of fact, taking a look at downtown Houston, you notice you only got a few clouds outside. Otherwise, pretty blue skies. You see the pretty nice clear view of the downtown skyline as well. And the temperatures are starting to go down just a bit as well. Currently looking at them right now, we're sitting at about 80s across the board. Some areas with the low 90s, 89 in Hobby, 90 in Pearland, 89 in Sugarland. But again, there is still a lot of that humidity left from all that rain that we've been seeing over the past few days. Filling out 104 at Hobby, 102 at Bush, 106 in Katy. That's the hot spot. But otherwise, we are going to start to feel a lot better as we go into the evening hours. Taking a look at your storm tracker radar again, not seeing very much. We do have this one lone cell out in far east Texas. But other than that, it's looking pretty nice. However, that is going to start to change going into later on tomorrow as well. So taking a look at that current future track, again, not much left for the rest of the night, but again, going into tomorrow afternoon, that's when we're really going to start seeing maybe some of those showers and storms starting to pop back up. Maybe it's going to be very isolated in nature, maybe around the Woodland, Sugarland. Again, it's going to last very quickly, maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and then it's going to start dissipating before we go back into drying out for the rest of the night. Now, again, tonight, it's pretty clear outside. Not a bad night to have a good barbecue celebrating the Texans' first win of the season, maybe preseason, but hey, still a win is a win, right? So again, we're going to be clearing out. Temperatures dropping back down into the low 80s. And again, not bad. Now look at this. We're taking a look at Hurricane Erin right now, a Category 5 monster. It's going to continue to make its way up to the west before making that west to northwestern turn. Not expected to actually impact land, which is good because, again, this thing is a monster right now. Now, taking a look at your 10-day forecast again, the rest of the night, not looking too bad. I'd bring those rain chances back down nearly to 0, actually. And then going into the rest of the week, we're going to bring back that summer pattern of seeing some of those afternoon showers and storms from that sea breeze. And for those who don't see the rain, they're going to be dealing with a lot of that heat and that humidity. And as always, we're going to continue to keep you updated at click2houston.com or our KPRC2 weather app.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Khalil. Going to be a lot of wet conditions for sure. But still ahead, as Khalil mentioned, the Texans return to NRG Stadium for the first time in 7 long months. Of course, 60,000 fans were on attendance for the first preseason game. Some starters even took the field as well. And also last night, baseball history nearly took place against the Astros last night at Daikin Park. We'll have all the highlights for you after this short break.
Plus, a local expert sounds off on the conflict in the Middle East and how he helped provide humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip.
Welcome back. For the first time in 217 days, the Houston Texans were back at NRG Stadium. But this time for week 2 of the preseason as they prepare for their 2025 campaign. Just over 60,000 fans packed into the building this afternoon to watch CJ Stroud, and many of the starters make their first in-game appearances this fall, which begged the question, how would Stroud's play-calling relationship be with first-year offensive coordinator Nick Caley go? Well, turns out pretty well. 2nd and 2, great 14-yard throw to Jaden Higgins, the rookie out of Iowa State, inside the 30. One of 2 Iowa State rookie wide receivers on the Texans roster, and on 4th and goal at the 6. Who else? Stroud to Nico Collins in the bottom right corner of the end zone. They did that 7 times over the course of last regular season, leading to a Pro Bowl selection for Collins, and gave the Texans an early 7-0 lead this afternoon. Fast forward to the 4th quarter, though. Jack Plummer, the 3rd-string quarterback for Carolina, looking for Jacoby George, but it's intercepted at the 15 by Damon Arquette, who fumbles the football inside the 10. The former Raider fumbling it inside the 10, but holding on to it, which 3 plays later would set up a 1-yard touchdown run by British Brooks, the 2nd-year tailback out of North Carolina, as the Texans take their first victory of 2025, all being in the preseason, by a final of 20-3. Now, the Texans enter 2025 looking to break through the incredibly deep AFC and reach the franchise's first conference championship game ever. And I had the chance to check out Texans camp in preparation for today's game and got the chance to see what head coach D'Amico Ryans' team believes they are capable of this fall. In their 23-year history, the Houston Texans have seemed to be in a constant state of either mediocre success or expected disappointment. But for head coach D'Amico Ryans, the signs that his team are improving more than ever heading into the 2025 season were on full display this week as they near the end of training camp.
I expect every practice to be that way. Clean, work as professionals. That's what we are. This is our job as professional football players. You got to work in a manner accordingly, staying off the ground, staying up, protecting each other.
Today you have days like this in camp. This is what you get. This is what primes you to get ready for the season. These are the type of days that you have to go through in order to be great, to go through dog days like this when it's hot outside, when you grind it, plays back to back, all that type of stuff. That's what gets you ready for the season. So I'm really glad that we got a chance to come out here and do this today.
But at NRG Park, there is one man whose popularity exceeds all in 3rd-year starting quarterback CJ Stroud, who feels that live gameplay in the preseason is important for his personal growth, even as he prepares to face his longtime friend and the one man who was drafted over him in 2023, Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young.
I'll try to look at those moments as real-life games and, minute 20 to win the game, we needed a touchdown or to tie it. I think those type of scenarios help. So when the moments come, kind of used to them.
Now, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young go all the way back to when they were playing on youth football fields in Southern California. And while they both now lie in the heart of the Deep South in the NFL, both admit that their rivalry through college and even through the pros still exists today, even if it's in more comedic level terms.
We were just kids, man. I think that's the cool part. I think we were just two kids trying to just play good for our selective teams and our selective areas in California. Hopefully we get to match up next year or something, or maybe in the Super Bowl or something. I don't know. Don't put that on ESPN. I know how y'all do. But however it works, man, I wish my brother well, though.
And last Thursday marked the final public practice for fans at NRG Park. And while fans won't be able to see their red and blue till the Texans' Week 2 Monday night showdown with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Coach Ryans is grateful for the uber support of the fans he once played for himself as a player.
I'm coming in at 5 a.m. and I see lines of people out here ready, waiting to come here and watch guys practice. So the sacrifice and the time that they make and the effort they put into being able to come out here early, getting here earlier than some of the coaches. They're out here ready to go. And just shows how excited everyone is about Texans football.
Now, following the Texans and Panthers Saturday collision at NRG Stadium, they will eventually head to Detroit to take on the NFC North champion Lions, before Houston's Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans cut down the roster to 53 men the following week, in which the team will officially be ready for their highly anticipated season opener in Los Angeles against the Rams. Reporting from NRG Park, Max Cepeda, KPRC2 News. And finally in sports tonight, the Astros are in the midst of a dead heat fight for first place in the American League West with the Seattle Mariners. And while the second of their 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles is in progress as we speak, last night at Daikin Park was one Astros fans will certainly want to forget. Back out at Daikin Park on downtown Friday night, Framber Valdez took the bump for the Blue and Orange last night and had a lackluster outing to say the least. 6 2/3 innings to go with 3 earned runs on 9 hits, including this Kobe Mayo home run to the Crawford boxes. But the story of the night was this man, Orioles starter Brandon Young, who entered the night 0-6 with a 6.70 ERA and threw 7 2/3 innings of perfect baseball, capped by this unexpected catch in right center field by Daniel Johnson. But the next batter, however, was Ramon Arias, who hit one softly back to the pitcher, back to Young, who overthrows Mayo at first base for the Astros' first and only base runner of the night, as Baltimore goes on to win this one 7-0 to open the weekend series, sending the Astros to 68-54 on the season.
Now, according to reports, cities and more urban areas in the United States are considerably hotter than more rural areas.
That's right, Vivian. And coming up, our meteorologist breaks down the science behind heat islands and the facts you need to know to stay cool.
Now, we are 3 months into hurricane season, and we've reached the point in the season where hurricanes are starting to pop up.
Absolutely, and this is the most powerful one yet. Hurricane Aaron, just classified as a Category 5 in Khalil. It doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, take a look at this beast right here, 160 miles an hour. That's how strong this hurricane is. And I wanted to show you guys exactly how fast this hurricane actually went. So we have this thing called rapid intensification. That's when hurricanes wind speeds increase anywhere from 35 miles an hour or more in just 24 hours. Now, just yesterday at this time period, it was just a Category 1. So the wind speeds actually increased about 80 miles an hour in just 24 hours. However, there is a good news that it looks like this system won't get much stronger. As a matter of fact, I believe we just got a new update from the National Hurricane Center. It has weakened a bit back to a Category 4 with winds of still 150 miles an hour. It looks to be going through an actual eye wall replacement cycle, so we could actually expect the storm to re-strengthen again once it gets its act back together. But the good news is it's not expected to impact any land anytime soon. It's going to actually go right between Bermuda and the southeast United States. So again, the best case scenario for this monster of a storm. And as always, we're going to continue to keep you updated on the tropics as we continue to go in further and further into the peak of hurricane season. Guys, back to you.
Now below your feet every 15 minutes, the sewer water is being tested.
That's absolutely right. And coming up, stay tuned for how this happens and what results Examine On look like when we come back.
Yeah, that's right. That was kind of.
We've seen scattered showers throughout the day, but are there more chances of rain ahead? Meteorologist Khalil Ray will have the latest update on the forecast.
And also coming up, Houston is using wastewater to track viruses before they spread. And families can now get real-time alerts to help protect kids and prevent outbreaks.
Also, a Houstonian expert sheds light on the conflict in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. Kids are back to school, and that often means germs, sniffles, and missed days. But Houston, we have good news for you. You can get an early head start on right on your phones with what sickness is flowing around your neighborhood.
That's absolutely right, Vivian. And more importantly, KPRC2's Victoria Harrison explains how Houston's underground health network is helping families prepare, protect, and prevent outbreaks.
We really isolated ourselves, but you can't live in a bubble. And so it's important for us to know what's out there.
For Ebony London, every school day starts with more than just packing a backpack. It means preparing to protect her 5-year-old son, RJ, a 2-time cancer survivor still undergoing chemo.
Naturally, we have to do things to take super precaution while still living a normal life.
Everything we flush or wash down the drain contributes to our wastewater, and it ends up here, where the city of Houston is turning that water into data that can detect viruses in your community, which could give families a crucial early warning.
We excrete so much stuff into our wastewater. All of these diseases that are circulating, things, chemicals that we ingest, chemicals that we're exposed to, we can look at our wastewater to get a profile of kind of what's going on in our communities.
For the last 5 years, the city of Houston has partnered with Rice University to build one of the nation's most advanced water waste monitoring systems, with more than 100 sites across the city testing for different pathogen targets. Small samplers are installed in manholes and pipes at specific locations, and they're collecting wastewater samples every 15 minutes.
A person from the city will go and physically grab those from these, what we call auto samplers, and they keep them cold in the field, and then they bring them back to our lab where we test them. It allows us to tell what the dynamics of different diseases are in our communities.
And parents, listen to this. At schools, detections can be shared directly with families through an alert system.
For schools, we do routine monitoring for respiratory viruses. So these are things like SARS-CoV-2, flu, and RSV. And when we detect these, we report this back to the school populations through a virus alert system.
More than 9,500 alerts have gone out to families so far, telling them about the most susceptible diseases.
If you had a push notification that there was flu circulating in your school, it might encourage a parent to be like, oh shoot, I gotta get that flu shot for my kid to make sure I protect them.
This kind of real-time data is transforming how the city responds, turning invisible threats into actionable steps.
Hospitals use it. The Texas Medical Center watches it. Universities watch it. It helps them prepare for what could come. And if we didn't have it, we really wouldn't know what's out there.
Truly incredible story, Victoria. And mobile alerts aren't the only way you can track viruses. This right here, right on your screen, is the City of Houston's wastewater monitoring dashboard, offering weekly updates on what's flowing beneath your feet. Now, of course, Vivian, we've been talking about the rain for a whole lot of this hour, but Khalil, I know we certainly felt it, at least coming into the studio today. I know you did too, but it looks like it's probably not going to be going away anytime soon.
Well, that is the case. Actually, as a matter of fact, I do remember I was at the mall earlier today, and yeah, we were under a pretty hefty downpour, but right now looking pretty nice over the Southwest Freeway, and temperatures are looking pretty mild as well. 90 in Bush, 88 in Hobby, 90 in Pearland. Again, it's not looking too bad, especially as we go into the evening hours and that sun starts to set, we'll still see those temperatures start to go down. Now, taking a look at your live radar, as a matter of fact, not seeing much right now. Maybe a couple of storms to the northeast of Houston. Otherwise, the rest of the area looking pretty good, but that is going to change later on going into tomorrow and for the rest of the week. We're going to keep some of those afternoon rain chances. Taking a look at your current future track again, looking pretty clear for the rest of the night. Not a bad time to have a barbecue celebrating that Houston, Texas win. But overall, going into later on tomorrow evening, that's when we could see some more pop-up showers and storms. Again, isolated and scattered in nature. It's not going to be everywhere. It may last 15 to 30 minutes, but just hold on, stay inside for a little bit, and then it'll be all over and done with. And again, we're going to continue to keep this pattern for the foreseeable future, as a matter of fact. So make sure you guys stay dry and keep that umbrella with you in your car. And also, I wanted to go ahead and talk about some problems that we usually face here in Houston. So there is this thing that I know you guys notice, especially when you go to NRG Stadium, how it can feel really, really hot outside. So there's this thing that scientists describe as the urban heat island, which pretty much means that there's a lot of pavement around, a lot of buildings. All of these things trap in heat, keep it a lot longer. Lots of things cool off a lot slower, and that pretty much keeps the city a lot hotter. Take a look at this. Here in Greater Houston, we continue to see population growth with nearly 8 million people now calling the city home. Now, of course, with that population growth, you get development. Things like asphalt, concrete, cars, buildings, all what you usually see in an urban environment. These may contribute to why it feels hotter here than if you're out in the country somewhere, and what scientists consider as the urban heat island effect.
The abundance of these sort of concrete surfaces and things like that heat up and take a long time to cool off, if you add up all those factors, the cities are going to heat up more during the daytime and stay warmer overnight.
As cities continue to face challenges with urban development, Dr. John Hooker says there are some ways to partially mitigate some of those effects of cities heating up.
Lots of green spaces as much as they can. Water, in places where this is hard to do, in places where water is scarce, but simply just using drought-tolerant plants and to the extent that you can, protecting your waterways.
Now, Houston does have some green spaces like Herman Park, where people often hang out on a hot summer day. But compare Herman Park to places like NRG Stadium or another area in the city full of concrete, the difference is pretty notable. Now, as we continue to deal with the urban heat island effect, it's important to stay hydrated and cool. Reporting for KPRC2 News, I'm Khalil Ray.
Thank you, Khalil. As countries come forward to recognize Palestine as a state, tensions rise in the Gaza Strip. Last week, I spoke with a Houston expert on this issue and how he thinks things will develop moving forward. Ambassador Satterfield was appointed by President Biden in 2023 to lead U.S. humanitarian efforts in Gaza. Now he serves as the director of Rice University's Baker Institute.
The fundamental difficulty in this frustrating, long, tragic conflict has been that the humanitarian efforts were never conducted at the pace of the military efforts.
Growing concerns have mounted about starvation in the Gaza Strip, as Palestinians do not have adequate access to food and water.
If you bring in hundreds of trucks of assistance every day, within 2 weeks, the self-distribution stops and the criminal looting stops. Why? Because people are reassured they don't have to run and seize off the trucks the assistance. It's going to come tomorrow and the day after and the day after.
The United Nations held a summit this July to discuss a two-state solution in the region in hopes that a ceasefire could be achieved soon. However, experts say that international organizations and diplomacy can only go
so far.
We couldn't, with all the best will in the world, substitute for their will, and the UN can't, and other bilateral parties can't either. If they are not resolved, then neither Israelis nor Palestinians will have a realistic chance of enjoying what President Clinton famously, during his tenure as president, described as the quiet miracle of a normal life.
In the nation's capital, protesters are rallying against the federal takeover of D.C. police. President Trump's executive order from Monday commanded D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser to temporarily hand over the Metro Police Department to the federal government, requesting that Congress allow him to hold control for more than the 30-day maximum.
Absolutely, Vivian. And the D.C. Attorney General disagrees with what is going on and filed a lawsuit in response challenging President Trump's D.C. police takeover.
Look, the President of the United States and the Attorney General of the United States are trying to illegally engage in a hostile takeover of our Metropolitan Police Department. That violates the law, and it puts the people of the District of Columbia, the visitors and residents of the District of Columbia, at risk. Nobody is above the law, including the President and most certainly the Attorney General.
Poised to...
Now, obviously, when it comes to Attorney General Schwab, he mentions that they are going to fight this head on to protect the residents, making sure the laws are upheld to its standard.
More than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants are poised to walk off the job around 1 a.m. ET on Saturday.
That's very big news, obviously, Vivian, and that is followed by a company-imposed lockout if the two sides can't reach an 11th-hour deal. Air Canada canceled around 500 flights today alone ahead of a possible work stoppage set for Saturday and urges customers not to go to the airport unless they have a confirmed booking and their flight is still operating, with cancellation notices sent by email and text.
The CUPE union representing flight attendants says it's ready to negotiate to avoid a strike, while Air Canada asks the federal government to mandate binding arbitration. The union rejects arbitration, but the airline continues pushing for the government intervention if no deal is reached. Meteorologist Khalil Ray has the latest on Houston's rain chances throughout the week. Coming up, we'll find out if these cloudy conditions will change your weekend plans.
Now I get it, guys. Obviously, it's a Saturday. A whole lot of people are out of their houses today. People are either watching the Texans, watching the Astros. People are shopping. People are preparing for possibly back to school. So much is going on, but at the same time, I think we could all probably feel all the stickiness and humidity outside as well.
Yeah, I have to admit, my hair is not loving this weather. Do we have any hope in the future, Khalil?
Unfortunately not, and I'm going to go ahead and show you why, as a matter of fact. But right now, taking a look at Galveston, looking pretty nice at the Moody Gardens. You do have some clouds overhead, but it ain't a bad time to go to the beach, especially since we're done with all those showers and storms for the rest of the day. And here's some animals that are taking that into account. Look at the flamingo camp. You see them hanging out by their little pond. Again, they're having some fun, trying to stay cool, but again, just relaxing a lot. Now, taking a look at these current temperatures, 90 at Bush, 88 in Hobby, 88 in Sugar Land. Again, Southeast Texas, we've dealt with a lot of humidity over the last few days with those rain chances. And this is how it feels right now. 104 in Bush, 102 in Hobby, 100 in Sugar Land. You can expect it to still feel hot over the next few days as, again, these rain chances aren't going to go away anytime soon. Taking a look at your current radar right now, we do have some storms just north of Liberty, but otherwise looking pretty nice outside. Again, not a bad time to go to the beach. Or another way that you could celebrate is, for first off, taking a look at your future track, we do have a lot of clear skies for the rest of the day, and then going into tomorrow for again, we're going to see some of those rain chances start to pop back up. Again, isolated and scattered in nature, not going to be everywhere, but just do be prepared and keep an umbrella with you if you're going to go anywhere. And again, another way that you could celebrate today, the Texans won, right? So not a bad time to go outside, enjoy the barbecue. As a matter of fact, temperatures are going to continue to move go back down. And then also take a look at the tropics. We have this monster of a hurricane, Hurricane Aaron. It seems to be going through an eye wall replacement cycle, which is why they just weakened it down to a Category 4 hurricane. It was just a Category 5 earlier, but the good news is just going to stay off to land. No main effects expected to occur in this in the United States or Bermuda, maybe just some high waves and that rip current rinse. For the rest of the day, we're going to have, again, those rain chances throughout the rest of the time period. And those who don't see those rain chances are going to be dealing with that sticky, uncomfortable heat. And more on your weather coming up.
Welcome back. A Houston nonprofit created a life-saving gun surrender program that looks to decrease domestic violence fatality rates in Houston.
Absolutely does. And Vivian, I know you obviously got the chance to speak with one of the Harris County Sheriff's officers who founded this initiative and who looks to, more importantly, make a bigger impact larger than his service towards his community.
A Houston nonprofit, the Harris County Domestic Violence Coordinating Council, created a gun surrender program to decrease fatality rates in domestic violence situations. Today we spoke with a lieutenant at the Harris County Sheriff's Office and the director of the Coordinating Council to hear about their role in creating this program. Since the creation of this program, do you think that it's had a positive impact on lowering fatality rates in domestic violence situations?
I believe it has. You know, we've had many people that come in here, they're scared. The victims are scared, and removing that gun removes some of the fear. It helps add a layer of protection.
After meeting with Lieutenant Klofka, I spoke with Amy Smith, the Director of Communications at HCDVCC, to learn about the policy behind the program.
Most domestic violence homicides occur by firearm. If there's a firearm in the house, it is more likely that it could result in a homicide.
Before HCDVCC created this program, respondents were told to give their guns to a friend or family member during the years a protective order was active against them. Now those guns are put in the possession of law enforcement officers, helping to decrease Houston's high domestic violence fatality rate.
About 40% or so of our homicides are family violence related.
This program has existed now for over 5 years and continues to grow.
Right now, the Harris County Sheriff's Office since 2019 has collected close to about 300 guns.
There are many resources out there for everyone. If you feel your life may be in danger, if you fear for your safety, the well-being of you and your family, your kids, your extended family, reach out for help.
If you are a victim of domestic abuse or you know someone who is, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline, or reach out to the Harris County Sheriff's Office so they can put you in contact with the resources that you need. Reporting from the Harris County Sheriff's Office, this is Vivian Phillips, KPRC2 News. Now to an investigation after a sheriff's deputy shot and killed a man. That man reportedly shot and killed his own son-in-law.
Truly a tragic story, Vivian. And this all stemmed from a child custody dispute just south of the Beltway and Tanglehead Court in Northwest Harris County. We spoke to the family who identified the shooter as 78-year-old Rafael Rodriguez. Rodriguez died at the hospital, and we're told that the man Rodriguez shot is his son-in-law, Franklin Portillo. Rodriguez's daughter, Daisy Jura, says she wants people to know her father was trying to protect his grandchildren.
My dad was the best man in this planet. My dad was an amazing man. And he did what he did because he loved his children. This is horrible. It just happened today. you're never going to wake up feeling or thinking that something like this is going to happen.
Now, Daisy and her husband say they will take custody of the 2 kids for the time being. The deputy involved in this shooting was placed on administrative leave, and Precinct 4 officials say the deputy was called to the scene for the custody dispute and saw the shooting, prompting him to return fire.
A couple is celebrating the arrival of their newborn after experiencing a harrowing birth.
It's a really inspiring story, Vivian. The couple was just minutes from the hospital, but the baby just couldn't wait, forcing the dad to take on the role of doctor. NBC's Jody Hernandez on how exactly this birth looked.
This is where my son was born, in my car. I was sitting in the back.
34-year-old Sandra Jacob Kelly shows us where her newborn baby made his unusual debut last week. The back seat of the family car.
This is my birthing suite. This is my birthing suite.
Sandra says her contractions suddenly ramped up last Monday night. She and her husband jumped into the car, speeding down 680 toward John Muir Hospital.
I knew once my water broke, we were on the freeway when my water broke, I knew that it was just going to be an any moment thing, because by that point, you can't really control it. Your body just kind of starts to do, the work.
Yeah, I think it played out like my worst nightmare, to be honest. So,
Dwayne Kelly says he was still hoping to make it to the hospital, but the baby had other plans.
Right off of Ignacio, I started feeling that his head was coming out. So I told my husband to pull over and we delivered him and I.
And it was game time at that point, and we pulled over and the head was out within kind of 1 minute.
Dad suddenly had to play the role of doctor, something he never imagined.
But I did my best and I caught the baby. That's, I guess, all you can do.
You did great.
She was amazing. She talked me through the whole process. I was terrified. But, we got it done and, everything worked out.
Dwayne wrapped his newborn in a pillowcase from the pillow he threw in the back seat. Paramedics arrived moments later, helping him cut the umbilical cord.
I'm still in recovery. They're doing great. I think I'm going to repress the memory as quickly as possible, and it will take me a couple of years to recover.
Oh my God.
Baby is home bonding with his family. His birth story certain to be remembered. His name, Tomas Ford.
But it's a special story, and because things went well, I obviously wouldn't change any of it.
Wow, what an amazing woman.
Truly.
Next, a small bakery in Texas receives major positive recognition because of a post made to her TikTok.
That's absolutely right. So coming up, how the owner went from pop-up shops in high school to a flourishing business. More on that after the break.
Now, a small North Texas bakery owner is still in shock after what has happened from posting a viral TikTok video of her store.
It's really interesting, Vivian, because Pan Pan Bakery is seeing lines now out their doors since its owner posted this recent video. Tara Rahman has their story.
Things in my Mexican and Japanese fusion bakery and cafe that just make sense.
This is how it started a few days ago.
Pan in Spanish is bread, and then pan in Japanese is also bread. So it's bread, pan, pan.
And this is how it's going. Laura Molinar never expected her TikTok video to go viral.
We have a Japanese toilet with a bidet. We got over 16 million views on that video, which is so awesome.
It's not just the fusion of cultures that's hooked TikTokers.
We offer drinks like horchata matcha.
You don't have to scroll far to figure out it's also her personality.
Concha pillow.
And it didn't take long for the views to translate to reality.
How did you find out about this place?
TikTok. I've only seen some TikToks about it.
It kind of just blew up, and here we are trying to catch up.
Meet Mama Laura.
Before we would make one dough every 2 weeks, and now we make 6 or 7 a day.
She and her family have been boosting Molinar way before the algorithm did.
I wash dishes, I make dough, I bake everything.
From pop-up shops in high school to opening these doors.
Let me put it on your tray, girl.
Now on the cusp of 1 year since opening, Mama Laura gets to see the likes and customer counts go up.
I was gonna cry. And it was, like I said, it was tough at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. She cried a lot, but she's getting there. She's gonna learn.
Now, while the family is still trying to keep up with these lines at the bakery, the young owner turned TikTok star already has plans for her future.
If it keeps growing, hopefully into more stores, franchising opportunities.
At just 21 years old, she's got some time for that, along with a never-ending boost from her family.
I'm her mom. You know, I'm always gonna back her up, no matter what.
Next Saturday, God's Lovely Butterflies Maternity Home will be hosting their annual back-to-school kickoff, giving away backpacks, school supplies, hygiene items, and even having multiple vendors out.
Seems like a perfect time to do it, I would imagine. And this kickoff will be held August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the kickoff is ranging for all that are students in preschool all the way up to college. We spoke with Darlene Kennedy, the owner of the nonprofit organization, and she says the reason behind the giveaway is simply to just give back. The address for the kickoff this kickoff is 2626 South Loop, West Freeway.
Make it count, play it straight, don't look back, don't hesitate when you call.
Hold on, wait, I know where that's from. You don't need to go any further than that. We, of course, know where this is going. It's, of course, Big Time Rush, who is in town just north of Houston tomorrow at Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion in the Woodlands. The American pop band made popular on Nickelodeon is making a comeback on their In Real Life worldwide tour, making it their 6th tour as a band, and this is the 29th of their 60 destination stops on this tour that began in Birmingham, Alabama on July 9th. The tour will run all the way to December 22nd, finishing in Denmark. And going from more comedic level terms to more serious stuff, I feel like Big Time Rush is obviously important, but the weather I feel like is slightly more important, I would say, probably, Khalil.
Just a little bit.
I mean, it's not too bad outside. You know, you have the giraffes pretty much enjoying themselves a lot right now. As a matter of fact, did you know that giraffes, when they get hot, they actually just stand there frozen? That's how they keep cool. And you often see that earlier in the summer, especially when we're dealing with those hot temperatures. But it's not going to be looking too bad for the rest of the day. Going back down into the lower 80s as we go on throughout the rest of the night. And again, not a bad time to have a barbecue celebrating those Texans winning against the Panthers today. And speaking of that Big Time Rush concert, Sunday you only have a 30% chance of rain, so I wouldn't cancel my plans to go there just because of that small amount of rain. Not everyone's going to see it, so go have some fun. Enjoy some of those times that you want to with your family. And then for the rest of the couple of days, again, it's going to have some of those same conditions. And again, for those who don't see the rain, they're going to be dealing with those sweltering conditions. But otherwise, again, go outside and have some fun. Back to you guys.
Try to do so, Khalil. Thank you so much.
A very overdue library book was returned to the San Antonio Public Library in Texas recently, 82 years after it was due. The book, called Your Child, His Family and Friends, was checked out in July of 1943. According to a letter that arrived with the book, someone wrote that after their father's death, they found the book and his belongings and decided to send it back.
It's unbelievable. And they believe it was originally checked out by their grandmother when their father was 11 years old. And in the letter, the writer expressed their gratitude and hoped that there wouldn't be any late fees. The book is now on display at the library's central branch. So I guess it returned to the library after all.
That's it for KPRC2 News at 6:30. And more local news stories are streaming right now on the KPRC2 Plus live stream.
And that's right. You can watch by downloading the free KPRC2 Plus app on any streaming device in your smartphone. KPRC2 News will be live on TV back at 10. Thanks for watching and have a good night, Houston.